Welcome, beloved chosen ones. There's something undeniably powerful about protecting your peace, isn't there? It's not just a decision, it's a statement, a bold declaration that your soul's tranquility is far more valuable than any chaos others may bring. Comment 707 below if you've ever had to make the hard choice to walk away from drama. And to everyone who has supported this mission through Super Thanks, we are deeply humbled and grateful. Your generosity allows us to spread this message of strength, faith, and divine purpose far and wide. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how the very act of walking away can feel like a masterpiece in motion? When you detach from their dysfunction, it's as though you're painting a picture of resilience with each step you take. Did you know that while 80% of people may resent you for leaving, 100% of them secretly admire your courage? That's the beauty of being chosen. You hold a divine ability to walk away not out of spite, but out of strength. Here's the unspoken truth. When you leave their chaos behind, you don't just cause ripples, you create waves. Your exit forces them to confront the reality they've avoided for so long. It's like holding up a mirror they're too afraid to face, revealing cracks in the image they've carefully curated. Suddenly, their carefully constructed world trembles, and they're left fumbling with the aftermath of their own actions. But here's the thing, you were never meant to stay in their circus, so don't carry guilt for leaving the show. The power of your cut-off game lies not just in the peace you gain, but in the profound transformation it triggers in those you leave behind. What happens when your absence becomes the loudest truth they can't ignore? Why does the ground beneath their feet seem to cave in when you walk away? Let's dive into the deeper layers of this truth, exploring why your departure doesn't just leave them falling backward. It leaves them staring into a mirror of revelation they can no longer avoid. God's chosen ones, your cut-off game has folks falling backwards. You walked away from the drama. Your ability to set boundaries is one of the most defining characteristics of your journey as one of God's chosen ones. These boundaries are not built out of cruelty or indifference, but as a necessary defense for your spiritual and emotional survival. You've come to realize through hard-learned lessons that not everyone deserves unrestricted access to your life. These boundaries are not chains meant to confine you. They are like the armor of a warrior, safeguarding your energy, peace, and divine purpose. Have you ever considered how few people recognize when they've crossed a line until you clearly define it? The moment you do, the shockwaves ripple through their lives. They are stunned, not because they didn't notice the boundaries, but because they never imagined you'd enforce them. Many underestimated your resolve, thinking you would endlessly tolerate their drama, manipulations, or empty excuses. They expected you to remain their emotional crutch, a silent witness to their chaos. But when you finally say, "Enough is enough," the reality hits them like a thunderbolt. This brings to mind Jesus' teaching in Matthew 10:14, where he instructs his disciples to shake the dust off their feet when leaving a place that refuses to welcome or listen to them. Isn't that what you're doing when you set these boundaries? You're walking away with dignity, leaving behind the unnecessary burdens of others' expectations. What a powerful testimony to your growth and self-worth. When you draw these lines, it's not about punishment or resentment. It's about preserving the precious gifts God has given you: your time, your peace, and your purpose. How can you fulfill the mission God has placed on your life if you're constantly weighed down by the chaos others bring? Just as Nehemiah refused to be distracted from rebuilding Jerusalem's wall despite the persistent schemes of his enemies, Nehemiah 6:3, You too must stay focused on your divine assignments. Your boundaries aren't meant to harm, they're meant to protect. Yet, to those who thrive on conflict and manipulation, your resolve feels like an unyielding fortress. They can't fathom how someone could calmly walk away without engaging in their games. What they don't realize is that your strength comes not from bitterness, but from clarity. You know who you are, whose you are, and where you're going. Why waste your energy on anything that doesn't align with God's will for your life? In a world that blurs the lines between loyalty and enabling, your honesty about what you will and won't accept speaks volumes. It reminds me of Proverbs 4:23, which urges us to guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Isn't that exactly what you're doing? You're guarding the very core of who you are, so that your actions and your purpose remain aligned with God's plan. So when people recoil at your boundaries, let them. Their reactions are not a reflection of your character, but of their own insecurities. You're not being unkind, you're being faithful to your calling. And as you continue to walk in this truth, you'll find that those who are meant to journey with you will respect the armor you wear. After all, it doesn't trap you. It frees you to fulfill the destiny God has prepared for you. You possess an extraordinary gift, one that few can truly comprehend, the ability to discern chaos before it even takes shape. This isn't magic or guesswork, it's a wisdom born from experience, honed through years of encountering individuals who thrive on conflict and manipulation. You've become so attuned to the patterns, the subtle shifts in behavior, and the almost imperceptible changes in energy that you can predict trouble long before it arrives. How often have you felt that inner nudge, that spiritual prompting warning you, this is not where you belong? Your timing is what leaves people most shaken. Before the web of manipulation is even fully spun, you've already walked away. Those who intended to ensnare you are left bewildered, clutching at their unfinished schemes and wondering how you saw it coming. They assumed you would linger, unwittingly playing the role they had scripted for you. But, like a master strategist, you make your move before they can even initiate theirs, flipping the narrative entirely. This brings to mind Proverbs 22:3, which says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." You are the prudent one who has learned to recognize the storm clouds of drama before the rain begins. Rather than waiting to be drenched in chaos, you seek shelter, detaching yourself from the dysfunction before it can entangle you. Have you ever noticed how quickly peace returns to your life when you make this choice? This ability to anticipate trouble isn't rooted in fear, but in clarity. You've walked through enough storms to understand that staying too long only deepens the damage. It's like watching Joseph in the Bible, who fled Potiphar's wife the moment he sensed her intentions. Genesis 39:12. He didn't linger to negotiate or argue. He simply removed himself from the situation, preserving his integrity and his destiny. Isn't that what you're doing when you choose to walk away before the chaos takes hold? What confounds those who thrive on dysfunction is your refusal to engage. They expected you to stay, to argue, to defend yourself against their manipulations. Instead, you leave, head held high, dignity intact, before they even have a chance to twist the narrative. By the time they realize you're gone, you're already several steps ahead, unbothered and focused on the path God has laid before you. Your decision to walk away is not a retreat, but a declaration of your worth. You understand that not every battle is yours to fight. Not every accusation requires a response, and not every person is worthy of your energy. This clarity is your strength, a testament to your growth and to the divine wisdom guiding your steps. Like Jesus, who often withdrew from the crowds to pray and refocus, Luke 5:16, You understand the value of stepping away to preserve your peace and purpose. And what happens to those left behind in their unfinished schemes? They're not only frustrated but also introspective, though often unwilling to admit it. They spend more time questioning how you knew their intentions than reflecting on their need to change. That's the power of walking away with discernment. It forces others to confront themselves while freeing you to continue your journey unburdened. So the next time you sense the beginning of trouble, remember this truth. Your ability to leave early is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's your declaration that you will not be ensnared by anyone's dysfunction, for you have been called to something far greater. And in that clarity, you find the strength to move forward, leaving chaos in the past where it belongs. Walking away is often misunderstood, especially when you're one of God's chosen ones. To outsiders, it may seem like a strategic power move, a way to dominate the situation or win an unspoken battle. But for you, it's none of that. Walking away is not about controlling others. It's about reclaiming control over yourself. It's not about proving a point to anyone else. It's about declaring to yourself, "My peace is worth more than this chaos." This reminds me of Jesus' words in Matthew 11:28-29, where he invites the weary to come to him for rest. Have you ever paused to consider that walking away is your way of stepping into that rest? You understand that staying in toxic situations only drains you further, pulling you away from the divine peace that God intends for you. Staying isn't a sign of strength or nobility when it costs you your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. In fact, the longer you stay, the more pieces of yourself you risk losing. Choosing to leave isn't an act of aggression, it's an act of self-preservation and respect. The challenge comes when others misinterpret your decision. They project their insecurities onto your choice, seeing your exit as an attempt to gain the upper hand, because that's what they would do. They fight for control, validation, or the illusion of being right, but you don't engage in those battles. You've opted out entirely, leaving them baffled and unsure how to handle someone who refuses to play their games. Why does your choice unsettle them so much? Perhaps it's because they see in you a strength they lack, the ability to prioritize inner peace over external conflict. Your decision to walk away isn't rooted in pride, but in clarity, much like Jesus, who withdrew to solitary places to pray when the demands of others became overwhelming. Luke 5:16. You understand that stepping away is sometimes the only way to maintain focus and alignment with God's purpose. By leaving, you free yourself from the entanglements of their drama, manipulation, and chaos. Your energy shifts entirely, no longer tethered to the burdens they tried to place on you. Isn't it liberating to know that your exit is a step toward growth, clarity, and freedom? Walking away doesn't just free you, it also transforms the narrative. Those left behind often see it as a loss of control, but for you, it's a profound gain. You've reclaimed your time, your focus, and your peace. You're no longer living reactively, caught in their storms, but proactively moving toward the life God has designed for you. Philippians 4:7 describes the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. And that is precisely what you find when you step away from what no longer serves you. And here's the truth. Walking away isn't about proving anything to anyone else. You're not leaving to show them what they've lost or to make a dramatic statement. You're walking away because you refuse to keep losing parts of yourself. In a world that thrives on conflict, choosing peace isn't just countercultural, it's revolutionary. It's a reminder to everyone watching that true strength lies not in fighting every battle, but in knowing which ones are worth your energy. So when you feel the urge to leave behind situations that disrupt your peace, remember this: choosing peace is the ultimate act of power, not over others, but over your own life. You're aligning with God's will, protecting the divine purpose He's placed in you, and setting an example that peace is always worth pursuing. And that kind of strength, it leaves an impact far greater than any battle ever could. There's something uniquely magnetic about your energy as one of God's chosen ones. It's not just your kindness, compassion, or strength. It's the way you make others feel truly seen and valued. Your presence has a way of offering comfort, understanding, and support that people may not even realize they're leaning on. Over time, for some, your energy becomes more than a blessing. It becomes a crutch. They grow dependent on the light you bring into their lives, relying on it to fill voids they have neglected to address within themselves. What happens when you decide to walk away? For those who have built their emotional balance on the foundation of your constant support, your departure feels like a sudden and jarring loss. It's like pulling a safety net they didn't realize was holding them up. They're left grappling with the void your energy once filled, forced to confront feelings they've long avoided. Have you ever wondered how your choice to step away might be the catalyst they need to finally address their inner struggles? This dynamic reminds me of the story of the 10 virgins in Matthew 25, 1-13. The wise virgins carried enough oil to keep their lamps burning, while the foolish ones, who had not prepared, tried to borrow from others. Isn't this similar to how some people in your life may rely on your energy, expecting you to sustain them when they haven't tended to their own inner light? When you choose to walk away, it's not out of arrogance or a desire to punish. It's an act of wisdom. You've recognized that constantly pouring into others without reciprocity isn't sustainable or fair. Your departure forces others to face a truth they may have long avoided. They've been relying on your energy to fill their emptiness rather than doing the inner work needed to heal and grow. This realization can be deeply unsettling for them. It's not easy to face the spaces in their lives that they've covered up with your positivity and encouragement. Losing your presence might be the wake-up call they need. Have you ever considered that walking away might be the most loving thing you can do, even if it doesn't feel that way at first? Think of Jesus in John 5:6, when he asked the man by the pool of Bethesda, "Do you want to be made well?" The man had to take responsibility for his healing. Jesus didn't carry him into the water. Similarly, when you step back, you're encouraging others to take accountability for their own growth. It's not your role to be their perpetual source of strength. You have your own purpose to fulfill, and carrying the weight of others' unresolved issues can only hold you back. Walking away isn't an act of aggression, it's a necessary reset. By leaving, you're not hurting anyone, you're simply refusing to carry burdens that don't belong to you. This isn't easy for those left behind, and they may even resent you for it. Deep down, many of them know they needed this shift. Your absence forces them to confront their own shortcomings, to stand on their own 2 feet, and to seek the healing they've been avoiding. The beauty of your decision lies in the clarity it brings. Not just for you, but for those you leave behind. For you, it's a reaffirmation of your worth and a reclaiming of your energy. For them, it's an opportunity to reflect, grow, and learn to rely on their own inner strength. In Galatians 6:5, Paul reminds us that each one should carry their own load. By stepping away, you're giving others the chance to carry their own. While it might feel difficult to leave, remember this: your choice isn't just about protecting your peace, it's also about empowering others to find theirs. The most transformative growth happens not in your presence, but in your absence. Though they may not see it now, your decision to walk away could be the moment that changes everything for them. Drama has no place in the light you carry, because drama thrives in the shadows. It feeds on secrecy, manipulation, and emotional chaos, elements that flourish where confusion reigns. Those who bring drama into your life often rely on these tools to maintain control, yet your presence disrupts this cycle entirely. Why? Because the clarity of your spirit leaves no room for confusion or deceit. You are grounded in truth, focused on peace, and centered in a light that naturally exposes anything built on lies. Your arrival in any situation is like the breaking of dawn. The darkness is forced to flee, and everything hidden is brought to the surface. Lies lose their grip, manipulations fall apart, and chaos finds no foothold. This isn't because you're openly confronting anyone or calling out their behavior. Instead, it's the quiet strength of your authenticity that acts like a mirror. People are forced to see their own mess for what it truly is. Your presence alone reveals what they've worked so hard to conceal. For those who thrive on drama, this is deeply unsettling. How can they weave their web of deception when you refuse to play their game? You don't engage in arguments, stoop to petty levels, or pretend that their problems don't exist. Instead, your light compels them to face their darkness head-on, something many are unwilling or unprepared to do. Consider the words of Jesus in John 8:12. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. As one of God's chosen, you carry a divine light that shines in the same way, exposing what is false and illuminating what is true. How often have you seen people withdraw or unravel in your presence, unable to sustain their facade? Could it be that your unwavering integrity makes them question everything about themselves? As their drama loses its grip, they begin to falter. Without your energy to fuel their chaos, their schemes begin to unravel. It's not about you calling them out. It's about their darkness being unable to coexist with your light. At this point, you choose to walk away, not in anger or resentment, but out of wisdom and self-preservation. You understand that you are not here to clean up their mess or fix the things they refuse to address. Walking away is not just an act of self-care. It's a final disruption to the control they thought they had. Much like when Jesus turned over the tables in the temple, exposing the corruption there. Matthew 21:12-13. Your departure is a declaration that their behavior cannot continue unchecked. When you leave, you don't simply exit a situation, you dismantle the narrative they were trying to construct. The story they thought they could control collapses in your absence, and the power of their drama fades into irrelevance. Have you ever considered how powerful your mere presence is in shifting the atmosphere? What does it mean to you to walk in such light that chaos and deception cannot survive around you? Could this be part of your divine calling as one of God's chosen? Society often imposes an unwritten rule. You must remain in toxic relationships out of loyalty, stay in draining friendships because of shared history, and endure situations that deplete your spirit to avoid causing pain to others. Yet, this expectation comes at a great cost, your own well-being. Is it truly noble to stay in such circumstances, or is it a subtle form of self-betrayal? When you choose self-preservation, it is seen as a bold and audacious move. Why? Because your decision exposes a truth many prefer to ignore, that your presence was never something they were entitled to. When you walk away, those left behind don't just feel your absence. They feel unmasked. They relied on your patience, forgiveness, and willingness to absorb their chaos as though it were your duty. They assumed you would always be there to tolerate what they themselves refused to change. The moment you prioritize your well-being, it feels to them like a betrayal, not because you've wronged them, but because you've shattered the illusion that their needs were more important than your own. The Bible speaks to this dynamic in Luke 6:31. Do to others as you would have them do to you. This golden rule does not imply that you should pour out your life endlessly while neglecting your own health and peace. How can you truly love your neighbor as yourself if you have no love left for yourself? When you choose self-care over enabling toxic cycles, your decision isn't selfish, it's wisdom. Yet the world often fails to celebrate this wisdom, calling it selfishness instead. How often have you been made to feel guilty for choosing what your soul desperately needed? The act of walking away is far from easy. Society conditions you to be the fixer, the listener, and the one who absorbs the brunt of emotional turmoil. But there comes a moment when you realize that staying isn't an act of love, it's an act of self-destruction. Consider Jesus' example when he withdrew to lonely places to pray, Luke 5:16. Even the Son of God prioritized rest and spiritual renewal, stepping away from the crowds when necessary. If he did so, why should you feel ashamed for doing the same? Walking away is not giving up. It is choosing to survive. It is breaking free from a cycle that no longer serves you, a cycle that erodes your peace and drains your strength. The audacity of self-preservation lies in unapologetically choosing your own well-being over meeting others' unrealistic expectations. Think about it. How often have you stayed in a situation simply because leaving felt too disruptive? What if walking away is not just an act of self-care, but also an invitation for others to confront their own behavior? When you choose yourself, the judgment will come. You're being selfish, they'll say, as if sacrificing yourself endlessly was ever sustainable. But selfishness and self-care are not the same. The former seeks gain at the expense of others. The latter ensures you remain whole and capable of living out your purpose. In truth, prioritizing yourself is an act of obedience to God, who calls you to be a faithful steward of the life he entrusted to you. Consider this. Jesus taught his disciples in Matthew 10:14 to shake the dust off their feet when leaving a place that would not receive them. This wasn't a rejection of others, it was an affirmation of their own mission and worth. Your choice to walk away is no different. It is a declaration that you will no longer lose yourself trying to save those who refuse to change. They may never understand your decision, but you will know in your heart that it was the right one. So, how will you choose to preserve your light in a world that so often demands you extinguish it? Walking away has a unique way of revealing people's true nature. When you leave, the carefully constructed mask they wore, the one you may have overlooked out of kindness, hope, or even love, begins to crumble. Your presence, which was often the invisible thread holding their facade together, no longer supports their illusion. And in the absence of your stabilizing energy, their true motives and character come rushing to the surface. Have you ever noticed how some people's behavior dramatically changes once you decide to step back? Suddenly, everything becomes clearer. Their reaction to your departure reveals more about them than any words ever could. Perhaps it's the way they lash out, trying to guilt you for prioritizing your well-being. Or maybe it's the stories they spin, twisting the truth to paint you as the villain so they don't have to confront their own flaws. Sometimes it's their silence, the kind that screams louder than words, that shows how much or how little they truly valued you. Every response, whether loud or quiet, tells a story about who they are when the curtain of pretense falls. Proverbs 10:9 says, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." Your decision to leave isn't just about self-preservation. It's a catalyst that brings hidden truths to light. Their reactions, whether manipulative, defensive, or indifferent, are proof that your departure wasn't the problem. Their inability to maintain authenticity without you was. Could it be that your presence shielded them from confronting their own shortcomings? People who thrive on appearances rely heavily on an audience. They depend on others to validate their version of events and sustain the narratives they've built to showcase themselves in the best light. Your decision to walk away strips them of this safety net, leaving them exposed. Without your support, they falter, unable to maintain the act they worked so hard to perfect. This is why your absence feels so threatening. It forces them to confront who they truly are, and that is a mirror many are unwilling to face. Do you remember how Jesus often disrupted the false narratives of those around him? In Matthew 23:27, he called out the Pharisees, saying, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean." Much like how Jesus' presence exposed hypocrisy, your departure sheds light on the truth people try to hide. What's most striking is how quickly their behavior shifts. The same person who once spoke highly of you might now attempt to tear you down. The friend who claimed unwavering loyalty may suddenly start placing blame on you for leaving. These shifts reveal the reality you may have sensed all along, but hesitated to confront. Have you ever found yourself surprised by how drastically someone's behavior changes when they no longer benefit from your presence? Your exit is far more than a goodbye. It's a spotlight. It illuminates the dynamics you may not have fully seen while you were immersed in the relationship. Those who relied on you to sustain their narratives now have to navigate without you, and their inability to do so speaks volumes. For many, this confrontation with the truth is deeply uncomfortable. But for you, it serves as confirmation that leaving was not only necessary, but also the most empowering decision you could have made. Jesus reminds us in John 8:32, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Walking away isn't just about setting boundaries, it's about reclaiming your freedom. While others may struggle with the truths your absence uncovers, you are stepping into a space where peace and clarity thrive. So, as you move forward, ask yourself, what truths have been revealed by the simple act of walking away? And how does knowing these truths empower you to walk more boldly in the light God has given you? Drama thrives on engagement. It feeds on arguments, debates, and endless explanations. The very things that keep you trapped in a cycle of chaos. Those who revel in stirring the pot rely on these tactics to keep you tangled in their web. But you're different. You've come to understand a vital truth. The best way to win isn't to argue louder or longer. It's to step away entirely. Have you ever noticed how much power lies in simply deciding not to engage? You don't waste time getting pulled into their games. When you see the red flags, whether it's manipulation, endless conflict, or outright disrespect, you don't plead for understanding or beg for respect. You don't stoop to their level, entering a shouting match that's rigged from the start. Instead, you make a quiet but firm decision. This is not for me. And once that decision is made, it's final. No arguments, no explanations, just clarity and peace. Proverbs 17:14 reminds us, "Starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before a dispute breaks out." By refusing to argue, you deny drama the energy it needs to grow. Your decision isn't a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of wisdom. How often do we waste precious time and energy trying to convince someone of our worth when God has already declared it? Your refusal to engage leaves those who thrive on chaos with nothing to hold on to. They can't twist your words or distort your intentions because you've removed yourself from the conversation entirely. They can't pull you back into their storm because you've already walked away. This isn't just a physical departure, it's a decisive act that leaves no room for doubt. What confuses them most is your silence. They expect you to stay and argue, to justify your actions, or to beg for understanding. But you don't. You've realized that your peace is worth far more than their validation. Consider Jesus' example in Matthew 27:12-14. When he was falsely accused before Pilate, he didn't argue or defend himself. His silence was powerful, showing that truth doesn't need to be shouted, it simply is. By deciding instead of engaging, you reclaim your power. Those who sought to control or manipulate you are left spinning, trying to make sense of a situation where they no longer have influence. Their chaos collapses without your participation, and they're left searching for a way to pull you back in. Meanwhile, you've already moved forward, untouched, unbothered, and completely free. Your ability to decide rather than engage is an act of faith. It reflects your trust in God to fight your battles. Exodus 14:14 says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." By choosing peace over conflict, you align yourself with His promise to protect and guide you. How much energy have you saved by refusing to engage in battles that weren't yours to fight? What does it feel like to walk away from chaos, knowing you've left nothing for them to hold on to? Could this quiet strength, this refusal to explain or argue, be part of your calling as one of God's chosen? In your decision to disengage, you don't just protect your peace, you set a powerful example for others. Your silence becomes a testament to your strength, showing that freedom isn't found in shouting back, but in walking away. As you move forward, you carry with you a sense of calm and clarity, leaving behind the drama and stepping boldly into the peace God has prepared for you. Leaving isn't a sign of weakness, it's a mark of strength and strategy. The world often views walking away as an admission of failure, as though stepping back from a challenging situation implies you couldn't handle it. But the truth is far deeper. It requires immense strength to recognize when a battle is no longer worth fighting. Walking away isn't about avoiding problems. It's about making the deliberate, conscious choice to stop pouring your energy into something that no longer serves your purpose or growth. When you leave, you're not just exiting a situation, you're recalibrating your life. You are prioritizing your well-being, conserving your energy for pursuits and relationships that nourish you rather than drain you. This isn't avoidance, it's wisdom. People who misunderstand this might call it cowardice, but in reality, it's one of the most courageous things you can do. How often do we feel pressured to stay in draining situations simply because leaving might be seen as giving up? Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." Sometimes the season for fighting has passed and the season for moving forward has begun. Recognizing this shift is a sign of clarity and spiritual maturity. You're not running from the battle, you're choosing to fight smarter by focusing on what truly aligns with your values, goals, and God's plan for your life. Walking away is a calculated strategy. It's rooted in the understanding that not every battle is worth your time, attention, or emotional investment. Every moment you spend on a situation or person that isn't contributing to your growth is a moment you could have used to build something meaningful. Jesus himself demonstrated this principle. When faced with rejection in certain towns, he instructed his disciples to shake the dust off their feet and move on. Matthew 10:14. It wasn't weakness, it was strategy. He knew their mission was too important to waste on those unwilling to listen. Leaving is also an act of faith. It's trusting that God has something better for you beyond the situation you're leaving behind. Have you ever found yourself clinging to a situation out of fear, only to later realize that letting go was the very thing that set you free? How does it feel to trust that walking away opens the door to something greater? By choosing not to fight every battle, you're reclaiming your time and energy for what truly matters. This isn't avoidance, it's a shift in focus. Proverbs 4:25-26 says, "Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways." Walking away allows you to fix your gaze forward, toward the things that bring life, joy, and growth. The greatest strength lies in knowing that you don't have to fix everything or fight every fight. Sometimes the most powerful decision you can make is to step away from what drains you and move toward what fuels your spirit. By doing this, you create space to build, to grow, and to focus on what truly matters. Leaving isn't about running, it's about rising above. As you walk away from the wrong battles, you're stepping into the freedom to pursue God's best for your life. This act of prioritizing your well-being is not only strategic, but also deeply aligned with your calling. So, what areas of your life are asking you to let go? Where can you redirect your energy to align with the future God is calling you to build? When you, as one of God's chosen ones, choose to walk away from a situation, something profound happens. People are forced to confront the truths they've long avoided. Your departure doesn't simply mark an end to your involvement, it unveils the reality they've been hiding from. In your presence, they leaned on your patience, took advantage of your forgiveness, and relied on your willingness to carry the weight of their mistakes. You were their refuge, their shield from accountability. But when you leave, the safety net disappears, and they are left alone with the consequences of their actions. Have you ever wondered why your absence feels so impactful? The void you leave behind is not just emotional, it's spiritual. Consider how Jesus' departure after his resurrection left his disciples to face their own missions and responsibilities. In John 14:12, Jesus tells them, "Very truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." His physical absence wasn't abandonment, it was a call to step into accountability and growth. Similarly, your stepping away serves as a mirror, reflecting the truth back to those who depended on you. Many of them are unprepared for this level of introspection. While you were present, they could deflect blame, make excuses, and bask in the comfort of your grace. But when you remove yourself from the drama, that comfort vanishes. Suddenly, they are left face to face with the consequences of their own choices. Can you imagine the chaos they feel, scrambling to maintain the facade they've built, now that they can no longer rely on you to fix what they've broken? Your absence exposes what they've tried so hard to bury. Without your steadying influence, the cracks in their lives begin to show, like the prodigal son in Luke 15:11-32, who only realized the depth of his mistakes after hitting rock bottom. These individuals are now forced to confront the mess they've made. Your decision to walk away is their wake-up call, pulling them out of denial and into the light of reality. Do they rise to the challenge, or do they fall further into panic and blame? Some may attempt to shift responsibility back onto you, claiming that your departure caused their downfall. Yet deep down, they know the truth. Their struggles stem from their own actions. Much like when God reminded Adam and Eve in Genesis 3:11-13 of their accountability in the Garden of Eden, they cannot escape the weight of their decisions. In your absence, they are left to wrestle with questions they've avoided for too long. Why did they depend so heavily on you? What steps must they take to grow? Your silence speaks volumes, forcing them to confront what they've ignored. Some may resist, refusing to change, but others might finally take the steps needed to transform. Could your departure be the catalyst that leads them closer to their own healing and accountability? Ultimately, your decision to walk away is not an act of cruelty, but one of necessity. By cutting off those who take your grace for granted, you are giving them the opportunity to grow, whether they seize it or not. And as you move forward, remember that even Jesus withdrew from those who refused to hear the truth. Matthew 13:58. Your strength lies in knowing when to stay and when to step away, trusting that God's plan will unfold in their lives. just as it does in yours. When you, as one of God's chosen ones, decide to step away, your action becomes much more than a personal decision. It sets a powerful precedent, challenging the norms of those around you and planting seeds of change. Your exit is a bold declaration. Self-worth is sacred, peace is invaluable, and no relationship, no matter how deep, justifies enduring dysfunction. Have you ever paused to consider the ripple effects of your actions? Your choice to walk away serves as a silent yet potent testimony, urging others to reevaluate their own boundaries and expectations. The Bible often speaks of the courage to stand apart. In Matthew 10:14, Jesus tells his disciples, "If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet." By walking away from situations where your worth is not recognized, you embody this teaching. You show that clinging to toxic relationships is not a requirement, and that prioritizing your well-being aligns with God's purpose for your life. Your departure becomes a mirror, reflecting the truth that people may not want to see, their need to reassess how they allow others to treat them. For some, your decision serves as a wake-up call. They begin to wonder, if they can stand up for their worth, why can't I? Your example challenges them to consider the compromises they've been making and inspires them to pursue a life of integrity and self-respect. Have you noticed how your strength can encourage others to demand better treatment, not just from others, but from themselves? Just as David stood firm against Goliath, showing the Israelites the power of faith and courage, 1 Samuel 17:45-47, your stand against dysfunction sets a precedent for those watching. However, not everyone is ready for this level of self-reflection. For some, your exit feels like a threat. They may resent your courage because it highlights their own fears and insecurities. They might accuse you of selfishness or harshness, yet deep down they recognize the truth. You've done what they wish they had the courage to do. In Luke 6:22-23, Jesus reminds us that being criticized or rejected for doing what is right is not a failure, but a blessing, as it aligns us with his example. Your decision disrupts their comfort zone, shaking the foundations of their settled patterns. It challenges the status quo, forcing them to face the fact that tolerating disrespect or manipulation isn't an unavoidable part of life. Your absence leaves a gap that cannot be ignored. Whether they choose to rise to the challenge and make changes or remain stuck in old cycles, the impact of your departure lingers. Isn't it fascinating how one act of courage can reverberate so deeply in others' lives? Ultimately, your walkaway moment is not about causing pain or chaos, but about honoring your God-given worth. It's about trusting that stepping away from what's wrong opens the door for what's right. As Romans 12:2 advises, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." By refusing to conform to unhealthy dynamics, you not only protect your spirit, but also become a beacon of transformation for others. Whether they choose to change or resist, the example you set leaves an indelible mark, and that is enough to spark growth and reflection, even in the hearts most resistant to change. When you, as one of God's chosen ones, choose to walk away, your departure leaves more than a void. It leaves a reflection they can't ignore. For those who relied on your energy, your patience, and your grace to mask their own shortcomings, your absence becomes an unavoidable mirror, exposing the very flaws they tried to hide. It's not that you ever claimed to fix them, but your presence often served as a shield, allowing them to dodge accountability and avoid facing their own issues. Have you ever considered how powerful your presence truly is, even when it goes unacknowledged? In the Bible, we see a similar dynamic when Jesus confronted the Pharisees. His wisdom and truth exposed their hypocrisy, forcing them to face their own failures. In John 8:7, he said, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone." This statement wasn't just about forgiveness. It was a mirror reflecting the Pharisees' own guilt. Similarly, your decision to leave forces others to confront their unresolved flaws, leaving them no room to deflect or hide behind your understanding nature. Your willingness to overlook their mistakes might have come from love or compassion, but in doing so, you inadvertently enabled their dysfunction. By staying, you gave them an escape, a way to avoid reckoning with their own behavior. But when you walk away, their carefully constructed facade crumbles. Suddenly, the emotional baggage they had offloaded onto you becomes theirs to carry. How often have you seen people scramble in the wake of your departure, unprepared to deal with the consequences they avoided for so long? Without you smoothing over the chaos, they're left to face the full weight of their actions. This mirrors the story of King Saul in 1 Samuel 16:14, where the Spirit of the Lord departed from him, leaving him to deal with the consequences of his pride and disobedience. Saul's panic and subsequent downfall illustrate what happens when someone loses the stabilizing presence they once took for granted. For those left behind, your exit is deeply uncomfortable. They experience anger, defensiveness, or even panic as they confront the truth that they had hoped you would never bring to light. They begin to realize, often too late, that the problems they thought were external were internal all along. Isn't it ironic how they may have believed you were the one who needed fixing, only to discover that it was their own heart in need of repair? This moment of reckoning leaves them with a choice. They can either begin the hard work of self-improvement or remain trapped in denial. Just as the prodigal son in Luke 15:17 had to hit rock bottom before deciding to return home. Some people need the discomfort of your absence to push them toward transformation. Yet others may resist, clinging to their illusions rather than facing the reality your departure has revealed. Your role as a mirror is not something you chose. It's part of the calling God has placed on your life. By stepping away, you allow others to grow in ways they never would have while you stayed. And while their path forward is their responsibility, you can rest in the knowledge that you've done what's right. As 2 Corinthians 13:5 reminds us, examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Your absence becomes their test, their moment of reflection, and for some, their wake-up call. Though it may not be easy to leave, trust that your decision aligns with God's will for you and for them. You've given them the gift of truth, even if it's wrapped in discomfort. Whether they rise to the challenge or choose to remain in denial is not your burden to bear. But the impact of your departure is undeniable, and its echoes will shape their lives long after you've moved on. Walking away is far more than a mere act of leaving. It's a profound transformation of your spirit, your priorities, and your sense of self-worth. It is the ultimate declaration that your energy, your peace, and your God-given purpose are too valuable to squander on chaos and dysfunction. Though the world might label it as weakness, those who possess wisdom will recognize it for what it truly is, an act of courage, clarity, and faith. Walking away isn't about punishing others, it's about stepping into the freedom God has called you to embrace. The Bible reminds us of the strength it takes to separate ourselves from harmful situations. In Matthew 10:14, Jesus tells his disciples, "If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet." This isn't a message of rejection, but one of liberation, a directive to guard your spirit and move forward without carrying the weight of others' refusal to change. Similarly, when you walk away, you're choosing to honor your own peace and trusting that God will handle what you leave behind. Your departure disrupts unhealthy patterns, exposes truths, that words alone cannot convey, and forces accountability in a way that's both silent and powerful. Have you ever considered how your decision to walk away not only frees you, but also sends a ripple effect through the lives of those around you? Just as Jesus' example challenged his followers to live authentically, your boldness inspires others to reevaluate their own lives, relationships, and boundaries. Could your act of self-love be the wake-up call they need to start seeking something greater? For some, your choice will be met with resentment. They might misinterpret your decision as selfishness because it confronts them with the reality of their own shortcomings. Like the Israelites grumbling against Moses in Exodus 16:2-3, there will always be those who resist the discomfort of change. But just as Moses continued to follow God's direction despite opposition, your walk-away moment isn't about appeasing others. It's about staying true to the path God has set for you. Others, however, will see your decision for what it is, a powerful invitation to reclaim their own peace and self-respect. By walking away, you model what it means to stop accepting less than what God desires for His children. You show that choosing authenticity over pretense and peace over drama is not just possible, but necessary. Isn't it remarkable how one courageous act can inspire others to re-examine their lives and pursue the freedom they've been longing for? Your choice to step away is not an end. It's a new beginning, both for you and for those impacted by your decision. It's a way of declaring that you trust God to guide you into greater peace and purpose, even if it means leaving behind what no longer serves you. And in doing so, you affirm the truth of Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Walking away isn't just an act. It's a transformation, a step of faith, and an invitation for others to do the same. In the end, walking away isn't merely about departure. It's about creating sacred space. Space where growth can flourish, where self-discovery becomes possible, and where God can bring the kind of connections that truly uplift and nurture your spirit. Walking away is not an act of abandonment, but an act of obedience to the divine plan for your life. You're choosing to step into alignment with the person God has called you to become, shedding the weight of what no longer serves your highest purpose. Isn't it beautiful how this act of faith transforms your path and opens the door to greater blessings? In Ecclesiastes 3:1, the Bible tells us, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." Walking away signifies that the season for certain relationships or situations has ended, making room for new opportunities ordained by God. By letting go of what no longer aligns with your purpose, you trust in His promise to work all things for your good. Romans 8:28. Isn't it comforting to know that your decision to walk away is part of His greater plan for your life? This space you create is not emptiness. It's fertile ground for something better. It's where God can heal what's broken, strengthen what's weak, and prepare you for the next chapter of your journey. Have you ever noticed how clarity and peace often follow the moments when you finally let go of what's been holding you back? Much like Abraham, who stepped out in faith when God called him to leave everything familiar, Genesis 12:1, you too are walking toward a promise that requires trust and courage. Leaving behind what no longer serves your highest good is not an easy decision, but it's a necessary one. It's an act of love. Love for yourself, love for God, and even love for those you leave behind. By stepping away, you give others the chance to grow and confront their own journey. And by stepping forward, you honor the life God has designed for you, filled with purpose, peace, and His abundant grace. So the next time you make the decision to cut ties, hold on to this truth. You're not losing anything. You're gaining the freedom to walk toward the person God is shaping you to be. And that act of faith, that willingness to leave behind what no longer serves you, is one of the most powerful and transformative steps you can take. Trust that as you create space, God will fill it with something extraordinary, something that lifts you higher and carries you closer to His divine plan. As God's chosen ones, you've made a powerful decision. Your cut-off game is on point, and it's causing others to fall backward while you move forward. You've walked away from the drama, from toxic situations, and from anything that tries to keep you from your divine purpose. This bold step is a reflection of your trust in God's plan for you, knowing that you are destined for greatness. Walking away from distractions means you're walking toward your destiny. And this is just the beginning of a life filled with blessings and favor. The world may not understand the power of your choices, but as you continue to stand firm in your faith and trust in God, you will see His hand move in extraordinary ways. You're no longer bound by the chains of negativity, and because of that, God will open doors that no one can shut. As you walk in His purpose, remember that the strength to rise above the chaos comes directly from His Spirit within you. If this message resonated with you today, I encourage you to support this ministry by donating through Super Thanks. Your contributions, no matter the size, help to keep spreading these life-changing messages to others. But even if you choose not to donate, know that I am deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support means everything, whether through your views, likes, comments, or shares. Each interaction is a blessing, and I appreciate you being part of this journey. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this message with anyone who needs encouragement. I believe that God has led you here for a reason, and I'm praying for your continued growth, favor, and breakthrough. May God's peace surround you, His grace guide you, and His love fill your heart. You are chosen, and your best days are ahead of you. Stay blessed and keep walking in the light of God's truth.